So let me tell you a little something that, grinds my gears. Not for real, just a touch. So what I'm getting at is a lot of times, anything pre-mainstream, it's kind of a hidden treasure, right, as it were. I think the gym was like that, back in however long. I mean, honestly, if you're a more experienced viewer, right? Let's say you're getting up there. You've been lifting since early 2000s, even getting back into the 90s, even into some of the 80s, right? I mean, I can see the demographic. There are some old Sam viewers who you guys are tuning in for some what I hope to be solid ass lifts, right? But it's changed, right? The gym used to be this. It's like, were you training for something? It wasn't just a thing. And I'm not talking out of freaking experience. I'm talking just from actually even a little, when I was younger, back 14, 12 or so. I mean, I've been going to the Y for ever since I can remember, ever since it opened. But it used to be you just come up to the weight room when you're a kid just to freaking mess around, right? But now working out's it. Working out is freaking classic, right? Everybody's doing it, which is a good thing. But getting one step further, I'm talking about things that might hype you up to get lifting, right? I mean, I'm seeing Jujutsu Kaisen, right? Anybody in their 20s and below knows or has seen Gojo before, right? But where was that love back in the original Attack on Titan airing? Right? I mean, I know there's characters out there watching Rock Lee edits where you were a freaking Naruto hater back in the day, right? But it's good to learn your ways, and that's something that always gets me going. Watching, really just kind of any kind of training, motivational edit, song, music video, whatever, because it's hitting you from multiple angles, and allow me to explain. So I'm talking, if you've got just a badass song, that song's gonna get you going, right? If you've got some kind of just metal, electronic, kind of funky rap, something or other that's just hitting you in all the right places, that is gonna get you amped. I know it gets me amped for, whichever kind of wild sets I'm going for. So add one layer on top of that. That song might have been playing during a scene from some movie where, Rocky is dragging, what's he doing? Not dragging, but, he's got that log over his shoulders. He's getting ready to fight Drago, or he's chasing the chick and he's just running around in the sweatsuit, things like that, right? That's almost an extra level of motivation, because even just thinking about, that kind of video, that gets me amped, So it's just kind of connecting multiple dots, right? It's like having food from your hometown. It's just trying to click something in your mind, and it's definitely a temporary mental state to reach where shit's happening. Before I do a crazy set of squats, before I throw 150-pound dumbbells on my knees and get ready to actually rock them for whatever amount of reps, that's a certain state of mind that I do not get into very often. It's really just exclusively for the gym, and it's just a certain, it's just like a certain sort of feeling, because I think no good sets are done in the exact same mental state as just walking around like a regular dude, talking and joking around. That's why I do get kind of annoyed when I see guys working out and they're having a full-on conversation while they're doing a set. And I'm not talking like they're warming up, getting ready for whatever the workout might be. I'm talking like legit, they're doing a working set that counts for their arm day and talking at the same time. I'm like, and that's a personal thing. That's obviously not objective, right? I mean, I've seen guys where they're on the phone with somebody for an entire workout, and they hit their workout to whatever degree of intensity they wanted to do. So that's just me being a hater on this guy, right? But what I'm saying is, if you really want to bring it, you're not just lifting to lift. You want something out of it. You want to be a different lifter leaving the gym than you entered. With some of these real working sets, the ones where you got some heft and you got to kind of bring it, you should take a second. I think you might overdo it if you're, every time you come to the gym, even if you see your buddies around, if you just, go totally silent, you're just, I'm in the zone, bro. I don't make chit chat when I'm working out. Like, you ever see that video of the guy doing hack squats, and then there's a group of kids around him laughing, and the guy stops his set, and he's like, "Not in front of me, bro. Don't do that shit in front of me." You know, like, look, that's not something you need to do all the time. And frankly, if I was him, I probably would have just done the set and forgot about it. Or I would have had my headphones in, and I wouldn't have even heard him goofing off, you know? So it's not necessarily something that you can, like, don't go around telling anybody, like, "Hey man, you gotta be more serious." Like, this is a self-propelled endeavor. But, you know, for you, take a few seconds, right? I mean, chat between sets, whatever, as long as it's within the time frame of like a actual rest period. But before I do a set, man, even if I was just chatting 3 seconds before, I need to sit and get my music playing and just kind of center yourself. Just take a couple breaths, get ready for it, because this is supposed to be, you know, 15, 20, if it's a lighter set, maybe even 30 seconds of you just bringing it like a beast. Now, that's not a freaking classic activity. That's not you getting up in the middle of the night to you know, get a drink of water and then walk back and pass out. This is a test. Honestly, when I think of the bodybuilding and the working out, the performance, like the competition, is on such a small scale as just one set. You know, now it's a lot of sets added up, but the battle is really a you against you, and more so kind of a your like conscious mind versus your physical mind and body. You know, because I want to reach a point where the only reason I can't do any more reps is due to a physical incapability. Like, if I can't bench another rep of incline Smith, I don't want it to be because I said, "Ooh, that's a little too heavy, rack it." No, I want it to be because I physically cannot move it another inch, and I need to rack it or else I'm going to get crushed. You know, that's kind of the point I want to get to, and that's something to work on. Like the act of taking a set to real failure, that's a skill in and of itself. You know, so it's not like if you stop a set early, or you know you could have got a few more, you're totally screwed, right? Just make sure you're bringing it. But I think that's all I can say to get started. What this lift will look like, I guess you're going to find out. I got to warm up, get my rotator cuffs working first. Then we can just jump to set number 1. All right, instead of starting with a heavy press, let's start with a squeezing fly. With some heft. I'm not saying no weight, but more so as just a stimulating activator in a sense. And then, once I move on to a heavier press, I kind of got some blood flowing already, and there's just something about doing a press already with a bit of a chest pump. You know, it's a little, I don't want to say smoother, but it's like your chest is already in the flow, right? I mean, it seems a little silly to do any kind of press cold. I'm not saying fresh, I'm saying cold. So let's get a little more warmed up and pumped first, and then move on to something like that. Yeah. No. Yeah. Nah. Okay. Okay. One more. Then we go to Smith. A little heavier for this one. Okay. Okay. Oh, goodness. Oh, holy crap. Whew. Shit. Okay, the cable took a little more out of me than I expected. I gotta do a lighter press. Holy shit. Whoa, oh my goodness. That's freaking heavy today, man. All right, completely contrasting that set of incline bench. Plan now is a lighter squeezing one arm chest press. I used to be a hater of this, where someone would get on a machine like this or whatever and face a little bit crooked and do one arm at a time. But it seems I've turned a new cheek or turned a new pec, and now I like it. So I don't know if it's the heat, but I'm feeling a little something today for sure. I think I'm due for a rest day tomorrow. Just kind of freaking refuel and stay in the AC. But for now, let's keep pumping chest up. And this will be kind of a back and forth style set. So 10 reps on one side, 10 on the other, maybe another 10, maybe another 10, and gradually diminish the volume until it's back and forth of like 5x5s until just about failure, and then go from there. So this is more just a squeezing, you know, burning kind of torturous set instead of a heavy, crazy one like on a Smith. All right. Okay. I'm gonna finish with double arm. Okay. Holy crap. Okay. One more here, but not that same style. I'm going to change it up a little bit. I will explain in just a few moments. I'm going to go a little heavier, add one plate on either side, and do some straight presses first, then jump onto the pec deck and burn out. So I've been saying this a little while in terms of intensifiers, right? What can you add? What kind of special set can you add to a workout? So change it up for one, so it's, you know, a different stimulus, and for two, just so it's more interesting, right? And to that, I would say a superset with, you know, two phases of, you know, the same muscle group where you're hitting whatever muscle it is you're working on in two very different ways, right? I'm going from press to fly, you know, nasty, good squeeze, plus good stretch still, and just a heavy press, right? This action feels very different than this action, right? It's like doing a superset of preacher curls into standing dumbbell curls or standing easy bar, where you get a little more leverage and leeway to swing a touch, right? So by doing kind of a combo like this, shit, man, you're hitting your chest in two different ways in one set. So, I mean, if anything, if I had only 20 minutes to get a chest pump, this is the sort of thing I would do, right? You know, grab some cables and like a chest press or something, chest press set first, immediately jump onto some flies, maybe just do some fly sets and then come back or go back and forth. But I think this is a way you can really change up a lift. Because let's say you know, 5 different movements. You've got 5 classic movements for your chest. Cable fly, cable press, Smith machine, let's pec deck, machine press. Boom, that's 5 right there. And that's like nothing. I mean, you could list off 5 more. Anybody could. So you got 5 movements. That means at any given moment, you got 5 decisions. Should I do this one, this one, this one, this one, or this one? All right, that's decent. That's enough for a couple weeks of workouts, but you might get bored of it, right? But if you start adding extra combinations, right? This one and this one, 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 that sort of thing, then, plus the fact that you can do them in 2 different orders. How many different combinations is that? It's got to be at least, I don't know, is it 25? 5 squared? Well, either way, you got a lot of freaking choices at your disposal. So if you're getting tired of your lifts, this is a good way to spice it up. But let me hit one. Dude, I'm dripping sweat. Yeah, I need an AC in here pronto. But let's go. There we go. Oh. Okay. Okay. One more minimum. That was a good combo. Yeah. that's good. I think that's good. Let's pose down. A little more of a chill chest day, but that's all right. Okay, I think, yeah, those are not ideal lifting conditions. You know, as much as the Texas guys, you know, my dog on somebody for being like, oh, it's too hot in here for you? It's too hot? You need a drink of water? Yeah, I mean, that is freaking hot. Perfect in the winter. But as long as it's going to be 90 plus in the daytime, I think I got to start branching back out a little more to my regular gym loop, which was never the point of the private space. You know, I didn't want that just to go in there and, you know, hide away forever. I've got a pretty strong basis of gyms around, because I got YMCA, Planet Fitness, Anytime Fitness, Metro Fitness down in Worthington. I'll branch out. Even they're doing a ton of remodeling. So if you look it up, I'm talking Central Ohio, a little bit more to the, you know, a little more southeast, mainly just east from Columbus, 20-30 minutes. It's called American Barbell. They have got this massive kind of new extension that they're putting on their, you know, their space. So it's going to be really cool over there. I'm talking like, well, I mean, it's going to be a while. They're making they're adding all sorts of shit. So I can't say for sure that the next time the Arnold comes around, it's going to be totally finished. But, I mean, they're really clocking hours. You know, putting up new walls, new spaces, new machines. It's going to be pretty sweet, right? I used to go over there basically every leg day of like 2 bulks ago, because they have this awesome pendulum, hip press. The one that I now have in the gym in the corner. So rather than, you know, an hour and a half of driving per day for a lift, I get to come to the home gym and, you know, get to you know, hit my quads in that way. But yeah, that's cool. And half the value of going to different places, you get to see different people, right? There's different vibes. We all know the vibe of a Planet Fitness versus like a more hardcore bodybuilding gym, or, you know, even just like a smaller kind of Anytime, a little more commercial, but not super busy. It's good to get around. That's the fun part. You get to change it up. So plan for me now, go home, have a staple bulky meal. I'm talking X grams of white rice. I need to get a food scale. I don't know what I did with the last one. I think I got it wet, and then I don't know, I just can't freaking find it. But I need another food scale so I can actually weigh it out. But pretty much just a ton of white rice with about a pound of ground beef mixed in. And it's usually 2 meals worth, because I'll basically eat about half, fridge it, and then get some more later. And I think it might be a good idea for me to just make a full day's worth at once. I'm talking like 4 meals in a big ass like salad bowl, and then just scoop it out as necessary throughout the day. And that might actually be something I start doing. But either way, meals to be consumed, and then get a good night's rest for just straight cardio tomorrow. That's well, I guess I'll see how I feel, right? If I'm feeling like a beast, then get ready for some back. But yeah, I can tell I think a rest day is in order. One of my cues, which usually says, right, you're pushing the threshold of fatigue, which I know I'm usually a fatigue hater. It's like, you know, lift, but no, I can tell when my forearms start to get a little, not ticklish, but kind of tendony, or if just during the first few warm-up sets I just feel a little cold or just a little off. Usually that's my cue to say, all right, I might need another day. But I'm not going to judge that until that day comes, you know. To say you need a rest day now before it even occurs is setting yourself up, best case scenario for a rest day, worst case scenario for just a day off that you skipped, you know. So that's where I want to wait until next morning and you know, actually wake up, get moving around, and say, okay, today it's going to be objectively more beneficial for me to back off on the weights than it would be to add more cumulative stress and kind of essentially just catch up on my recovery. And half of it got kind of thrown off because I was traveling last weekend. So the best thing you can do is just keep eating your food, slam a crazy amount of water, and get ready for it. Right? Watch some old Tom Platz, Dorian Yates motivational videos, and get yourself in the zone. But good chest day. Started off feeling a little scrappy, but built up some more momentum kind of throughout, which is definitely a win. The last thing you want to do is show up to a lift, have the first sets feel a little and then you're like, not feeling it today. Don't come in feeling a little scrappy and then leave scrappier, right? Make sure you freaking leave some wounds on those machines. Don't act like they just whooped you. But that's all I got. A little bit of a later upload. I'm gonna get a little earlier with these, but I guess I'll just see you for whatever goes down tomorrow.